Welcome to Unearthed, presented by Juice's Arthropods, a talk show where we interview invert influencers, bug breeders, and humble hobbyists to uncover the best answers to questions they never thought they'd been asked. I'm Hot Doug, and tonight our special guest is Victor from Vexoticme, a well-known tarantula and reptile breeder and Instagram star. On tonight's episode, we will discuss what is the meaning behind the business name, what is new with him, and where he will be next. And now, let me introduce the Sultan of Slings, the Bill Gates of invertebrates, and our host of Unearthed, Juice.
Thank you, Hot Doug. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Unearthed. And tonight we will be discussing exactly what makes Victor from Vexoticme tick. We got some secret questions we're going to ask him. We're going to pick his brain and fully understand what makes him who he ultimately is. But I'm super excited, and as you all know, the point of this show is ultimately just to learn a little bit more about some of our favorite people. We're going to obviously host Hot Doug is here with us tonight, and we'll kick it back over to Hot Doug.
Hi. What? I guess I'm introducing our guest, who is Victor. Victor, welcome to the show.
Yes.
Hello.
Welcome, Victor. Sorry, that was me reading the wrong line, everybody. So it's going great tonight.
Let's not make it confusing, okay?
Absolutely,
Victor. Live.
Victor, thank you so much for coming out tonight. We really appreciate it. So obviously, it was an easy commute for you. Victor, let's get started a little bit. Like, who are you? How do we know you? And what do you do?
Well, I'm gonna throw it back to you. Who am I? Who do you think I am?
I think
you tell me who I am.
I love this. Let's do it. I'm gonna say Victor is one of the craziest people in the invert hobby I've ever met. In a good way, like an absolutely fantastic way. If I ever think about old world tarantulas, Victor is the person I think about. That would be how I would describe you. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah. Old
Perfect.
World. New worlds.
So we've known each other now for about 2 years at this point, and I ultimately met you. How did I meet? I think I met you at a show, right?
Do you think I'm gonna remember? Honestly,
no. I do remember. Actually, now that we're mentioning it, I met you. Maybe you remember this. We had the show. We were in San Mateo, and I kept getting water dripping from pipes at me.
Oh, but that was not the one we met. I mean, I wouldn't knew that before knowing someone.
Did we know you before that?
I don't know. Maybe I would.
I think I met you one time. So I know. I bought a Imbalfori communal from you, and then the next show I met you.
You were vending, right?
Yeah. I was vending in that show, and then I was getting squirted with water, and I thought the entire show that the pipes were dripping, and then I turn around and this jackass is smiling like a goblin as he's laughing because he's been squirting me with water for the entire time, like hours, like 4 or 5 hours goes by, and he has hit me with water. So yeah, absolutely. And Victor, you tell me a little bit more about you. As far as what is your methodology, like what are you doing, like walk us through your business.
Holy shit. It's a one-man business. It's overwhelming. I try focusing on breeding most of what I can. But we all know it's impossible to breed everything all the time. I'm probably going to spend a little more into reptiles as well, since I'm having a bunch of projects working finally. But yeah, we do mainly tarantulas. I do mess with true spiders, good old jumpers, velvets, huntsmans, scorpions, and now we have snakes.
Perfect. And you recently just had a clutch of a particular species that I'm very excited for you.
They're so
cute. You want to tell us what that species was and what they are?
The false water cobras, Hydrodynastis gigas. Yeah, they're the most spastic and one of the dumbest snake I have. I don't know if it's in the video that I posted, like where I was feeding the female and she bit herself because she tried to eat herself.
What made you think? Why did you decide that one? Because you have a unique take on a lot of different things. I've noticed you will not like if because I heard you actually on Spoodcast. You were talking about you have a hot take about Gramistola pulchras.
Uh,
I'll let you tell that hot take first before I go into more detail.
Overrated. Overrated. Extremely overrated. It's just an expensive black spider that grows perfectly slow. Like, honestly. If you want a black spider, there's cheaper ones and there's prettier ones. That's my opinion on pulchras.
That is a hot take, everybody. I want you to know
Yeah.
Gramistola pulchra might be the most famous of all tarantulas. Like they are, but I get your point though. They are exorbitantly expensive, slow growing tarantulas, and I think that's why they're ultimately so expensive.
I'm
Right?
actually breeding two right now. I got two female spare. Like, I'll have them. I'll have a little bit of everything. But, like, customer comes to me, asks, like, what do I recommend? I'm not going to say pulchra. I'm like, there's cooler stuff for the same amount of money that you're going to spend.
It's funny to me because okay, so when I'm looking at the optics of Victor, all right, he will he'll be like Gramistola pulchra, nah, overrated. But then he loves the Kilobrachus, he loves the old worlds, he loves the you know
Ephibophus.
Ephibophus, I do, which are awesome, awesome fossorials. Absolutely agree with that. Entire genus is incredible. Then you got your false water cobras, which just had eggs, and then what is I'm gonna call them the crazy snake. I know that's mean because I'm not a reptile guy. What is that really fancy like rat snake that you have, like blue
Oh, the
something?
blue beauties? Yeah,
Blue beauties.
the blue beauties.
Is
They're like,
that the big one? The one that you had the one time that came over?
yeah, giant corn snakes with attitude. They're like, the males can get like 9-10 feet long.
So I'm gonna tell a quick story about this, right? Because I feel this is important to really understand understand Victor as a whole. So first, Victor, could you describe how hot your house is at all times?
It's hot. So I live in a tiny apartment, okay? It's more efficient to warm the whole place than warming cage by cage. And it's more comfortable too. I hate the cold. So yeah, I'm usually semi-naked in here because it's hot all the time. And then I'm getting bit everywhere. 'Cause-
To put this, he's putting it bluntly, or he's obscuring the facts here, which is it's like 90 degrees in his house, like at all times. I might be exaggerating, but I would be shocked if it's not at least 85, like at all times in his house. And so
I can get a hit gun and we can measure right now if you want.
no, that's okay. Because the reason I mention this is so I want to paint a picture for the crowd, right? I meet Victor. We've known each other for a while. I go in, any breeders, we trade slings or we buy from each other, all those things, right? So Victor invites me into his house, and I see this beautiful blue beauty snakes, right? They're really gorgeous, and I'm not like a snake guy. Like I have nothing wrong with them. I just have no experience with snakes. But there's one thing I know about snakes, and it's when they're about to bite you. so so Victor's got this 9 foot long snake that he's holding like this, and it's doing that thing where they like curl back and they're just looking, and you're like, dude, this thing is gonna bite me. And I'm just like, hey, Victor, I'm fairly certain the snake's gonna bite me. He's like, no, they're so beautiful. They would never bite you. And this thing just
No,
rears back and bites Victor.
I never said it would never bite. I never said that. Okay, in my defense, I always say like everything can bite. Dogs bite, cats bite, kids bite.
That's true. That's
So,
true. You're right.
so like,
It was just super funny. This was like the first like real time that me and Victor had like ever actually sat down together. And I was like, well, I've never seen a snake bite somebody. Now, what was interesting about it is I had always thought that snake bites were way worse. And then I saw that thing bite you and it was like, dude, like a dog bite
cat
is
scratch.
way worse
Oh
than a
yeah,
dog.
oh yeah. Like, as long as it's not a venomous snake and it's not like a 20 feet long reticulated python, like it's gonna be better than a chihuahua bite for
Oh, for
sure.
sure. Why the you tend to kind of stray more towards the the venomous or the misunderstood. Like why do you tend to go towards that? Because I know you love old worlds and then you love these snakes. Like it'd be so much easier for you to breed ball pythons. Why do you tend to go this route?
Um, Not necessarily venomous because we don't have them. Like we cannot have them in Cali without special permits and everything.
Oh, got
That
it.
sucks. Okay, I'm just gonna make an observance. Like I'm having an allergic reaction, so people, excuse me. But anyway, yeah. I like animals that um pose some type of like challenge, whether it's like taming or like I feel like I'm always like learning, always testing my skills. I don't like boring stuff. When something is like too docile, too chill, I'm like, "Ugh, what's the point?"
That's
Like
true.
I like to have something to work with. So yeah, like the green trees, the emeralds, Amazon treboas.
You have an incredible picture of the. Is it the emerald boa? What's the one with the big ass fangs? Is that the
Yeah,
emerald
the
one?
emerald treboa.
You have
It's
a
on my fridge.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous picture of this snake, and I had never seen its teeth until you had that picture, and I was like, "Holy shit!" I know that there's a difference. It's called fangs if it's venomous, I think, but it's called something else if non-venomous. What is that?
Ah,
You know what I'm talking about?
technicalities. Yes. Um, like
Didn't mean to put you on the
fangs.
spot.
Yeah, I might be talking shit, but I think like teeth are like just when they're all basically the same, like similar. Like we have teeth. Like
Hmm.
if we had like vampires, I think they'll. I don't know if they have canines or fangs, but like rattlesnakes, they have fangs that they used to inject and shit.
Yeah,
Yeah, boas just have teeth. They don't have any like differentiated teeth that has some specific
got it.
objective or
So it's like
function.
if they have injection capabilities of venom, then it would be more because that was a thing that I thought was crazy about those snakes. What is the I don't know if you know this, but like what is the purpose of those gigantic teeth they have? Like
A lot of people thought they were capable of catching bird like midair, but recently, it was found out that they eat some type of arboreal rats in their natural habitat.
oh.
Um,
So it's
they
just an
gotta
easy way
be
for them to grab it and kind of pull
like
it back.
yeah, when they grab, there's no escaping.
That's
It's a
true.
very certain meal if they get it.
That's true. I will say, like, when I got into tarantulas, my background was more than in like I would say in like insects was kind of I was more of a roach guy, you know what I mean? Like, and I like
Yeah.
true spiders, but I was never really like, I would never have defined myself prior to this as like a tarantula guy, right? And I'll never forget you actually gave me, I think, my first old worlds, or I purchased old worlds from you. And I remember being like, it actually helped me out because to your point, like with old worlds, I personally like them more. And my reason is, and I want your take on Overlords as well. My reason is essentially, aside from the urticating hairs, they're like way less mean. like OBTs will like occasionally threat pose you, but their first reaction for old worlds is always to run away. Like I've gotten threat posed out of like hundreds of old worlds twice, maybe three times. You know what I mean? Like you tend to lean more toward the old worlds. What is your like thought or reason behind old worlds versus new worlds? Is it just the challenge or what else?
No, honestly, I would say it's mainly the hairs. Um, but
Oh,
yeah, like I always try to get people into old worlds. Like sometimes when a person's buying something and I have freebies, they're like,
yeah.
"Oh, I don't have any old world." I'm like, "Try this. Give it a try." They have such a bad rap, and
They
it's
do.
so like not deserved. Because well, for the people that don't know, old world they tend to have a little more potent venom. They're the tarantulas native, not like to Asia, Africa, Europe, not America, and that includes North, Central, South America. So everything that's not America is considered old world. Um, just giving a context for the woo, you fell for the people that don't know the difference between old and new worlds. Um, New worlds, they develop the ability of having and some flicking urticant hairs, um, which turns to be their primary defense, meaning they're less prone to threat pose and bite, right? Theoretically.
Yeah.
For that reason, people are afraid of old worlds. Like, oh my god, they're mean, they're venomous, blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, first reaction is always gonna be like trying to run, try to hide. Like same with OBTs. A lot of people are like, "Oh, orange mighty thing," but you see, like they're poking the spider in the surface of the
Yeah.
enclosure, like not giving them room to
Yeah.
try and hide or anything. So the spider has no other option except to tread pose. Whether New World will be flicky hair. Thing
Yeah.
is, chances of you getting bit, like basically zero. Like unless a trench is stretch posing and you put your finger in there, you're not gonna get bit.
Yeah.
But the thing with New Worlds, they can be so obnoxious and annoying. Like when I'm taking care of Terraphosa, Puphobedius, Brachypelma, Nundus, dude, vibration just to open the container. Like you open, they're already flicking like this. And like it goes in the air. There's no escape from that.
Yeah.
And it's annoying.
They do that thing where they almost like, when people like shuffle money to like make it rain, they do that with their urticating hairs. And to Victor's point, if I had $1 for every time I've been bitten by an old world, I'd be broke. But if I had $1 for every time I've gotten urticating hairs on me, I'd be the richest man alive. And
Yes.
and Victor, you have a is it a reel or a picture on your Instagram that I think encompasses my opinions of New Worlds to a T. It's you
With
and
the
your whole
sword.
face is swollen because you got like, what happened? Did you get urticated in the face? Or like what occurred?
Um, I think I got in my hand and actually scratched something. Cause like when
Oh,
I'm always taking care of the New Worlds, I'm always wearing long sleeves and gloves and a neck gaiter and everything. Cause one thing is, apparently, the more exposed you've been, the
no. Mhm.
worse the reaction gets. Which is counterintuitive because you imagine you build some kind of like resistance, but no, you just get fucked.
Yeah, exactly. It's it's so crazy to me because like I think we've gotten into the hobby relatively the same time, but you had more experience with tarantulas, and I'm still catching up to you in sheer numbers because if you ever get a chance to go into Victor's house, he like I have half of my house is spiders. Victor's house is spiders. Like he has like maybe a cot to sleep in or something. Like everything else is nothing but spiders and snakes. He just lives there. Like there's like no. He's always on
It's
the
their
road.
house. It's their
Yeah.
house. I'm just their slave, feeding and watering.
Yeah, exactly. How often? Because you go on the road a lot. Like you're on the road pretty consistently. Like how many expos do you do typically? Like a month?
Well, there's months where there's none or one. There's months there's like three or four, but usually I want to say around two.
Okay. And do you like doing that? Like because you went to like Idaho, you went to Portland. You see some crazy shit. I imagine. Like I
Yeah,
got to travel the country once, and that was enough for me. Like I think I'll stay in the
the
Western
saddle.
hemisphere. Yeah, I'll stay in the Western side for a while. Like, do
I
you like
love
that?
it. I love it. No, it is exhausting. I'll give you that. There's times I'm like, why do I do that? I'm dying, but it's worth it. I love it. Actually,
Yeah.
like when I have a few weeks without a show here, I get like, oh my god, I need to go somewhere. Like this last weekend I was not vending, but I went to SoCal to a show just because I was like, I'm not vending, but I'm just gonna go there anyway to hang out because I can't stand just like staying here all the
if
time
you
without like.
if you had to, I don't want to throw your fans under the bus in case, so you don't have to answer this if you want, but do you have a show that is like your favorite show? Like every time you vend it, and it doesn't have to be based on profits. It's just like this is the show that like I will do the show hell or high water every time.
Salt Lake City. Salt Lake City.
Really?
So Salt Lake City, I love going to Salt Lake City. Love the Wasatch show. Reptilian Nation is also good, but I made so many good friends there and like build like real connections with the people there, and
Yeah.
like I have a good, not a fan base but client base. They're
Hmm.
loyal. They're always there. They always stop to say hi. They give me gifts. Like, so it's a relationship that is not just like buy and go, you know. I
Yeah.
made I made a few really really good friends in there. Um,
I see a lot of pictures of your shows where like like people will tag you in them and then you'll share them
yeah,
where it's like got my third tarantula from Victor, right? Like my third or
yeah.
second or third year. Like you have like repeat customers like yearly at these expos, which is awesome.
Yes, that's one thing I love. So I always try to be like personal. You know me, I'm very blunt, very honest, for
No.
the good, for the bad. I'll talk shit. I'll be like totally open, and people that cannot stand that, they're gone. But most people, they appreciate that, and
Yeah.
just like I said, I'll say like, "Oh, don't buy this spider. What do you like?" There's people that come to me like, "What do you have cool for me now? Like, what do you recommend? What should I have?"
Yeah.
And it's yeah, it's just awesome because I make friends. Like, dude, I got these people. They were customers. They bought jumping spiders. That was in Bakersfield. I went there. They bought stuff again. It was my birthday. I was drinking because I was celebrating. I gave him a shot. They a few weeks later, they called me like, "Hey, we're in the area. Can we stop by, get some spiders, and drop you something?" They came here. They bought a bunch of spiders, and they gave me a bottle of tequila. so, so it's yeah. I always like to build something. You know, I take care of my customers too. Like I give them freebies and stuff. They come back. It's nice. It's a
You
relationship.
you have some of the craziest freebies. I need to say this. You give people freebies that I had never considered giving free. Like I had from you, I got that Vietnam blue, and I was like, Victor, that you sure? You're like, yeah, yeah, this is great. I was like, this is to date the coolest looking spider I've ever seen. But I will say, you are one of those people that will kind of tell people like, get outside of your comfort zone. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh
get
yeah.
out of that
Oh yeah.
perceive. And by doing that, you
Dude,
know,
I put people outside of their comfort zone just with my personality, naturally. I'll put them on the spot right now, like, let's go.
yeah, you do have. I would always say like you are kind of the harbinger of like the underrated because like until I met you, terrestrials and arboreals were like really all I had any interest in. You know what I mean? Like I had a skeleton leg, but it wasn't because of it being a fossorial. It was like, oh, this
They
thing
look
looks
cool.
dope and it has a cool, webbing situation. Then I met you and you were like, dude, you can't sleep on the fossorials. And I was like, I don't know, man. Like they kind of suck. But since then, it's so funny because since you've convinced me to do fossorials, I think at this point I have more fossorials than I have arboreal tarantulas
Dude,
because they're
yes.
just so dope. They like I don't know, like what if you're more of a fossorial person, but like if you didn't have fossorials as an option though, like what would be the next like what would be your favorite tarantula outside of fossorials?
Holy shit. Because as
Yeah.
far as I can think right now, my favorites are Holyphobophus complex, Kilobrachys, the Natony charm, the Electro Blue,
Yeah.
Malforis. So
Oh,
I'm
Malifaux are
trying to
dope.
think. Arboreals?
That's right. We're asking the hard hitting questions here at Juices Arthropods.
Yeah, probably I would go with arboreals like Omotimus, stuff like that. But yeah, it's not nearly as interesting as the Fossorials.
Now you're a pokey guy, right? Or do you not really care for them?
I love them, love how they look like how big they are. What makes me kind of like be pissed with them and stray a little further is how a pain in the ass they can be to breed. I'm yeah,
Yeah. You
I
have to
do have some.
flood them or something, don't you? There's like some crazy you have to like recreate a monsoon like they have in
Yeah,
Sri Lanka or some shit. Like it's
yeah.
ridiculous.
I actually just started learning. I mean, I knew in the theory, but I just recently started to make it work. So I'm like, um, I recently had a sack of Pyregalis
Hmm.
where I floated. Well, after the pairing, fed a lot, float, and put a heat mat under the tank because they need the floating and the heat. And then she laid, so I got a sack. Thing is, Um, to make it like wet and floated, I kind of like cut circulation. She was in an exoterra and I cover the lid with a wrapping paper.
Mhm.
But my mistake is that after the sack was laid, I still let it be too wet. Like I didn't allow to ventilate, so half the egg sack was too wet.
Got it.
So you gotta float, you gotta make it warm, but after the sack, you gotta allow ventilation. So now I have an egg sack of P. metallica and P. rufilata. Rufilata is like,
That's dope.
it's the biggest arboreal tarantula ever.
Yeah, they're awesome.
And yeah, so they dropped, and now like I let the lid open to air out, and the egg sack doesn't go bad and shit.
I'm really hoping that you get that dialed in, man, because that's the thing. Like with all this CITES species, it's so difficult. Like I've wanted Metallica slings forever, and I know nobody breeding them. Like it's impossible to find them because of the fact they're on the CITES list. So it would be really dope if you had some. They will go fast. Like your next
Uh,
expo, they will
it's
all go
it's
away.
always on demand, like,
Yeah.
and the fact that they can be communal too makes it even more like on demand.
Wait,
Because
go back to that. Don't
pokies,
just slide over that.
pokies are communal. They can be communal.
Metallicas. You're talking about the most venomous tarantula on the planet can be communal.
Pokies are the most venomous.
I think
You
so,
sure?
yeah. I think ornatas are fourth and rufilatas are second.
Well, this is also subjective.
Of
But
tarantulas,
anyways.
not megalomorphs. They're
Oh
not
yeah,
the
yeah,
same.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, pokies are communal. Yeah.
I did not know that. That is incredible. And also the most I'm just imagining every time trying to open that because pokies are the fastest, most like skittish things on the planet. They
My
just vanish into
ornata,
corners.
my ornata is very spastic. I'm actually raising a bunch of ornatas. I got a mature female, some subs, and I have like 4 males raising. So I'm gonna have ornata soon breeding too. Dude,
We're-
my Metallica though is such a bad mom. Like, you
what do
know
you
how,
mean?
like, she doesn't give a fuck about her egg sack.
She just leaves it.
She's just
She's
like,
like, I don't care.
she's the most relaxed tarantula I've ever seen with an egg sack. Like,
That,
you know
oh, that's
how
scary.
we
I would be
most
so. That's so much money potential too. Like yes, the tarantulas are amazing, but again, you're a breeder. Like this is your livelihood. So like having a mom that just doesn't give a shit is so terrifying. I'm like, dude, you gotta go take care of it.
I would think I prefer that over a mom that eats their babies though.
That's true.
Because like,
And
you know how
yeah,
we're always so concerned about them eating the sack, which happens
yeah,
way too often.
yeah.
Uh, but she's like, I open. She's like, here, the egg sack is on the other corner. I feed her, so that makes me worry a bit. I'm like, is this egg sack bad? Like, is she turning it around properly? And then the other time I see her holding it, so I'm like, okay, we'll see,
Just gotta
we'll
you
see.
gotta let nature do its thing, right? Now, I for the listeners that might not know, because we do have a lot of bug people that aren't necessarily tarantula people. I've heard a lot of people, and like I have my views on like why like I won't pull egg sacs until they're a certain point. I'm sure I believe you do the same thing where you'll let them hold them for a while and then you'll pull them. And I know a lot of people like have mechanical moms and stuff, and then like
Yes.
then I'll hear people say like, well, like, isn't it mean? But like, you had a really good explanation for why you do pull the egg sacs. Do you want to just kind of tell the people that don't know, like, because we're not doing something mean to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
So let's go. Um, few reasons. The way I do, I usually leave the first 20 days, 20 to 30 days, depending on the temperature and the species. And then I pull them and we do the artificial incubator, which is just like elevated above water to keep humid and enclosed. Open the sack. Good. Um, the reason we leave this first 20 days with the mom is because she's going to be like slowly rotating the sack so the eggs don't like glued together and get stuck, and then the babies wouldn't be able to molt and they'll die. Reasons to open the sack, plenty. So first of them, during this period where the mom is guarding the sack, holding them, like some stress reaction could cause her to eat, some like environmental change, temperature, blah blah blah. God knows why. If I knew exactly why, I wouldn't have so many sacks eaten. But Yeah, so sometimes it's just like, well, I woke up today feeling like shit. I'm gonna eat all my babies. Plus, there's the thing where when the mom's guarding the sack, she's like enclosed, keeping the sack, not eating, blah blah blah. So that takes kind of like a little more of a toll on her than if you pull it out. Because when you pull it out, they go back to behaving normally, drinking and eating just fine.
Yeah.
And also, like if you let an egg sac hatch in the enclosure, you're gonna have hundreds of baby spiders all tangled in the web. It's gonna be hell to separate. So if you take it out, it's easier to control things. Make sure the eggs are healthy. If there's bad eggs, you take it out so they don't mold and contaminate the other eggs. If they're stuck together, you have a chance to try pulling apart. It's all benefits. In fact,
Yeah.
sorry, just one more thing on this matter. I'm really looking forward to getting mechanical mobs because I've lost so many egg sacs recently of them being eaten by the mob. That's
Yeah. I I feel like people don't. Well, first and foremost, from a breeding perspective, to me, it always seemed so arbitrary, like how long the amount of time for egg sacs to actually be viable are. Like I had an OBT that like 21 days I had babies everywhere. You know what I mean? But then I
yeah.
had a curly hair that was like 35 days before the freaking babies. And if you look at the size of an OBT sling, or eggs with legs versus like a curly hair eggs with legs, they're like a third of the size. So I was always like, why in the hell does it take so much longer for incubation? You know what I mean? It's there's like an art. It's like part art, part science when it comes to breeding, and I don't think a lot of
Hard
people
luck.
understand that. And yeah, a ton of luck. But now we have things like mechanical moms, right? And now then you add another layer where mechanical moms can break, and there's always that issue. And yeah, so it's always funny. I hear a lot of people that have like they're like, "Oh, you're stealing their babies." I'm like, this thing's brain is literally like a synaptic relay coil. It does not have like the ability. Like, don't get me wrong, they're smarter than we originally thought they are, but they don't have
But there's a
love.
limit to it. They're not
Yeah,
that smart.
exactly. Yeah, they don't have a limbic system. Like, they don't love their baby. Like, there are good moms, but they are good moms by nature, not that
No,
nurture
the fuck, they're
principle.
not good moms. They fucking
Well,
kill them.
like P. Armenia's, like some of them will like feed their babies and stuff. But I mean good.
Balfours.
Like,
Balfours are the
yeah.
only ones that are like,
Oh yeah, they're really good. I'm using the word "good mom" with like air quotes. You know what I mean? Like,
you're
you did
doing
the
the
bare
bare
minimum.
minimum.
Yeah, you did the bare. You didn't eat them. That's all we asked you to do.
Congratulations, you did your job.
Yeah, exactly.
That
I know.
my dad would say to me, "Ah, I got good grades, but I don't do more than you."
Yeah, exactly. I know we have a couple more questions. Obviously, I got a really hard hitting question, but I want to kind of take a minute and see, do we have any like interview or questions from the audience, because I think that's something.
As people.
I don't see any at the moment. People are just captivated. So
Perfect.
keep it going.
Well, hey, if anyone has any questions, feel free. Let's hit up Victor while we got him on this podcast. So
Bring the
Victor,
baby.
I got a really hard question for you. Okay, I'm gonna ask you. We're at the 30-minute mark, right? Yeah, that's fine.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. Victor, I want to know, what is your favorite dinosaur and why?
Ooh.
Spinosaur.
Wow. Quick.
Okay. Damn it.
Bam, quick shot.
I should have at the same time written down our answers. That is literally my favorite dinosaur.
Spinosaurus aegypticus.
Now, why is it your favorite?
I want Victor's first, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I like. I think the new model, because there's like different versions of what a Spinosaur look like.
Yeah, yeah.
The newest model is interesting. Um, Very cool looking, very weird. But I think I like the old version, the wrong Jurassic Park version. I loved like Jurassic Park 3 is my favorite because of the Spinosaur.
You wait, hot take Victor here. Your favorite okay, now I want to at least say thank you for being in the Tridge. Hot take Victor has the Jurassic Park 3 as his favorite Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Please continue. Please tell me more.
The Raptors look the coolest of like all the franchise with all the like the feather things like on the head.
Oh, okay.
The colors, the Spinosaur like fucking the T-Rex up, super cool too. Yeah, I like the Spinosaur a lot. And that's the only movie that has a Spinosaur.
That's
Yeah,
true. Is
yeah.
there a single scene where the Spinosaur in Jurassic Park 3 is in water?
Hmm. At the end, where they're it's actually when they get rid of it, when they're in the boat in the water and they set on fire and stuff. They're like the dinosaurs in the water. But of course, it's not well. None of the Jurassic Park dinosaurs are scientifically accurate. They're like
Right.
show movie dinosaurs, which
Yeah,
looks like
Sure.
they got like the Utah Raptors for the
for the
Velociraptors. Yeah,
Velociraptors.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yes. I mean the third Jurassic World has some feather ones that look pretty cool, but still Jurassic World. Eh.
yeah,
Anyways,
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
um, but yeah, the Spinosaur in Jurassic Park is designed kind of like a T-Rex with a crest and a long snout.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it looks amazing. If it was like that, I would like, fuck
When that movie came out, and I'll ask my wife this later because trust me, she's not able to say anything right now, but she will be in my ear like correcting me. I could have sworn they were saying that the Spinosaur was genetically modified in the third one. I could have sworn they said that, but then later on, I went back and watched it, and like they kind of allude to like, oh, we did some genetic modifications, but then the next scene they have the Spinosaur, so they like allude to them doing genetic modifications, but then they never actually show anything genetically modified.
I think what we're saying is about their DNA because they completed the DNA gaps with like Bullfrog's DNA.
Oh,
Because
maybe
like
that's what they were talking
their
about.
engine, because the DNA was never complete. They never found like a complete sequence,
That
and
makes sense. Yeah.
that's where everything got fucked up because they thought it was all females, but since they used amphibian DNA to fill the gaps,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, the lysine deficiency and all that stuff.
and then some like were able to like change sex or something like that, and
Yeah,
then have females, and then they started breeding, and that's where things went to shit.
I think it's interesting though that we have a movie where the bad guy, quote unquote, is the Spinosaur, which is a
Uh-huh.
almost I think their diet consisted almost entirely of
Fish
fish.
mainly, and
And
they're
they
aquatic dinosaurs and shit.
yeah, they're an aquatic dinosaur that's spending a whole lot of fucking time in the like the middle of the mainland. Like is not really it's like
Yeah,
not really in the water like for
no,
any of
no,
this movie.
no.
It's just like why did you pick this one? Like there's like so many Allosaurus. You could have gone that route. There's like so many different like carnivorous dinosaurs
Because
you could have chosen.
dinosaur is like is epic. The Spinosaur is like the crest is like it's very
It
like
is dope.
bang. You know what it is.
That's
Or
true.
or you
But
should know.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think until the game, Derek, did you or Doug, did you ever play the game Ark?
No, I have.
I know
have
what it is
not.
about, but I never got around it.
I was okay.
I don't have time for games except Fortnite.
I was gonna say a lot of people knew the Spinosaur because of the game Ark,
Oh,
and
really?
But Ark
because
was
that's
not around when Spinosaurus was
no,
in
and that was the
Ark.
craziest thing. So they did that movie where I don't know if anybody knew what the Spinosaur was at the time. Like you had to be like a hardcore dork, like a dino dork,
Yeah.
to like know what the Spinosaur was.
I mentioned that on this podcast, but when I was a little kid, first profession I was like dinosaur addict. First thing I ever wanted to be was an archaeologist, and then I switched it to a paleontologist. And it was just when I started to like actively have snakes and shit. Then I was like, well, I'm gonna study the living ones. Um, but yeah, I always loved dinosaurs. I have a big collection, like big ass dinosaur fossil shit.
That was my biggest beef with all the Jurassic Park movies. I've always been a bug nerd. Like the only movie, in my opinion, that ever did arthropods justice to an extent was the Peter Jackson. God, what is the not Hong Kong? What is the damn gorilla movie?
King Kong.
King Kong. There we go. The Peter Jackson King Kong movie.
The one with Jack Black.
Yes, they had the
Love that.
scene. Had a scene with like they had centipedes and all this stuff, and that in my mind was the only movie that ever like really played on how terrifying large arthropods would be. So now you have Jurassic Park.
That King Kong is the best version. Like,
oh yeah,
much better than Skull Island.
for sure, 100% agree. But you have Jurassic Park, which in the beginning, the very first, this has become a podcast about Jurassic Park. Sorry, guys.
Yes.
This you have the first movie alludes to the usage of mosquitoes to gather the DNA and all of the blood and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I have a problem with this. I have a couple
I
problems with
know.
this,
Okay.
but it's
Do you
fine.
really want to go about the curses of Jurassic Park? We're gonna be here for months.
That's true. But nope, if we're going to use fake science, if we're going to use magic, because that's what they're using here, because obviously they're not gathering blood from a amber of a mosquito, why are there no damn arthropods in all of the Jurassic Park movies? You're talking about like tarantulas were what, Cretaceous period or something like that? Like I get it, like there's so many things in Jurassic Park that were not from the Jurassic period. Like at all.
Mhm.
So if we're using magic and we're using bad periods, like we got stuff coming from all of the periods, why are there not a single damn arthropod in any of those movies? Like you have, they even have like, they talk about like the coelacanths and all that stuff. Like, so you have these things, they even biologically brought back plants from that time, which they talk about in the first one, but
Yeah.
not a single Eriptid or, you know, like anything, not one arthropod where they were like, nah, bro, we'll bring back Utah raptors, but fuck 40-foot long centipedes. We're not doing this. It's like,
What is more terrifying than a 40 feet long centipede? Like, fuck the T-Rex. Like,
that's
imagine a giant mosquito coming to get you. Bitch, I can stand the tiny ones, and you wanna fuck with giant mosquitoes?
you know what?
Come
You
on.
actually, you make a good point.
Yeah.
There will be no people alive to make the second and third movie. Like, they'll all be annihilated, like, in the first.
Yeah, I forgot about the breeding capabilities of arthropods. You're right. Two breeders here know exactly how many eggs a single tarantula lays. Forgot about that.
I would rather play with a rattlesnake than a centipede when it comes to free handling. And you want to
Oh,
bring, like, 40 feet long centipedes to life? Like,
I recently met a kid, and I want your thoughts on this, Victor. I met a kid recently at the California Herpetological Society, and I do not remember this kid's name, and I'm so sorry. Um, he he had Scolopendra whiteleg, and he was looking for a male for it. But he had an incredible hypothesis, and I want your thoughts because Victor, you're exactly the kind of guy that I know his own centipedes because you're
I
the
don't
only one
have
crazy
one.
enough.
I've
I was gonna
handled one.
say, yeah, right. Exactly why I knew that this was the right question for you.
Gotta
He was
try everything once or twice.
he was telling me that most of the reason people are afraid of centipedes and owning them is because they buy them for the shock factor, right? The same reason that people get OBTs and they dick with them with like, you know, to get them to
Yeah.
do their thing. They own the you know, the centipede, then they go to hold it, it either bites them or it scares the shit out of them because it nearly bites them. And then they basically
Yeah.
put it in the dark and then they never open that enclosure unless they're feeding it. I want your thoughts. Do you feel like, because his theory, he's literally sitting there petting this thing. His hypothesis, not theory, is
The
he told me
handling?
he has gotten to the point where he handles them and they're docile with 8 different ones, including polymorphas. Do you feel like this is a replicatable hypothesis in your experience with centipedes?
I don't think they're smart enough to learn a behavior because they're too simple of like organisms. Same with
Yeah,
spiders. Like they don't feel. It's just like instinct response.
yeah,
I do not think that they're as evil. Uh, like like they're always gonna bite you. I think they're unpredictable. Because they're way too fast, too many legs moving around
they're
all the
very fast.
time. So like the chances of something going wrong is higher. Doesn't mean it will, but I feel like it's more prone to happen just because of like X amount of factors. The factor their venom is more potent. The factor that is they're like super fast. They're not as predictable as a tarantula. You know it's gonna like go and move here. Like it's here, it's gonna move forward. That thing was like
Yeah.
so
Uh,
for that reason, like I show them more respect and avoid. Then again, the the it all comes to control. I feel like they're like harder to control,
yeah.
unpredictable. Therefore, not messing with that.
I've seen you, which is wild to me because I've seen you free handle old world tarantulas, which I get your point. I personally would never hold a centipede. Like I would hold, I have held tarantulas. I would consider holding an old world tarantula. You would never catch me dead holding a centipede. Like absolutely not. Like there's no way.
Done it once. Do not recommend.
Yeah, exactly. Now, Hot Dog, you being the bug novice, I want to know because I always think of this from an
You
illogical
forget I was
standpoint.
trying to breed mantises for a long time, and it sucked.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. Hot Dog,
Yeah.
if you have a thing that you're afraid of more,
Yeah.
well,
Like-
actually, let me ask this a different way. Are you more comfortable around tarantulas or centipedes?
Oh, tarantulas. Any day.
Yeah. I
Like,
think,
of everything I have, centipedes are the things that are, like, I show more respect, and, like, I gotta be a little more careful. And, like, Asian huntsmen. Asian huntsmen are annoying.
Yeah.
They teleport.
Well, so Hot Dog, his background is he has no experience with handling things. So I
Not
wanted
much.
his input.
Yeah. I haven't I haven't really handled it either, really.
It's true. Yet.
So I don't know. I think I'm learned to be more afraid of centipedes through proxies.
Is it me? Is that my fault?
Yeah, and I mean some of these, like every once in a while I follow some Instagram people that post some crazy, like gigantic centipedes that are just like alarming to look at.
Yeah.
So I'm inclined to just say tarantulas are probably
Sorry.
more my thing than a centipede.
Yeah, I always forget that. Well, first off, Hot Dog betrayed me with mantids being his pick, which is fine. I'll allow it. but no, to your point, yeah, no, they're definitely more easy user friendly.
Yeah.
So you, Vexotic or Victor, you got into mantids, but you still don't have mantids anymore, right?
No. I like them. It's just too much maintenance compared to spiders, and, like, I tried breeding them. I still have like 3 or 4 oots of orchids that never hatched. So
Wow.
It's a lot of investment. It's a lot of effort, a lot of care. And I haven't mastered the art of, like, breeding them. And, like, whenever people buy orchids and kill them and they want it, like, a refund or another one back, I'm like, dude, this is not viable. Like,
yeah,
right.
It's kind of like celadonias, you know.
Yeah, I've always told people that mantids make terrible pets, and they don't believe me. But like
they can make good pets.
I'm talking from like a care standpoint. That's the thing. If you could have a rent a mantis and be like, here, you can just rent this mantis out for a week for all your Instagram pictures, you would probably make a lot of money because like people love to take pictures with them and oh my god, it's so cute and they're so great.
Especially orchids.
Exactly. Like they love orchids and I'm like,
Right.
yeah, they're super dope. Don't get me wrong. Like, but your failure percentage is you can do everything wrong with a tarantula. And I get surrenders all the time from people that did everything wrong with tarantulas and it molted fine every time. And it
as long
still
as
is
there's
alive.
water, they'll be good.
Like they're still okay. And I'm like, you can have I had a Chinese mantis that molted wrong 4 times.
Wow.
And it
those
was
are supposed to be the more resistant ones,
exactly.
right?
And it was literally like exactly as the humidity they said it was, like everything was done exactly right. Like I am a lunatic about doing things the correct way. Still molted wrong because at the end of the day, it was an idiot and it kept just like if the top of the cage is here, there'd be a branch here, it would climb up here and then molt into the branch. Like, you fucking idiot. How do you not see the thing below you? Why did you not equate that?
They can be really dumb. Yeah.
They're so dumb. So yeah, I just always, it's weird. Now you are always into the weirdest thing. Like you always have like I'm using venomous, like with air quotes.
Okay.
Highly venomous, you'll have centipedes, you'll have old world, you have all these things.
I just got a Sicarius. Do you know what it is? Sicarius?
Go on. I know I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
6-eyed sand spider.
Okay, I thought so, but why?
They're so cute. They're so cute.
It's a box of sand, Victor. It's never going to do anything until you throw food in there.
So when I got it, I was being a little toxic, and I would just like uncover it just to see cover it up again.
They're cute. I can't take that away
It's
from
like when
you.
you see they, and they're like, it's like so cute.
You will be the first person bitten in the United States for sure.
I know they're just adorable. So I already talked to some people. I was like, "Get me more. I want more of them for me. Like, get me more 4 or 5, please."
I want to see more bite reports because all the bite reports I've seen from them have been awful. Like I think one guy lost an arm and another guy died.
So some people say they're the most dangerous. Like their venom
Yeah,
is similar to a brown recluse, but they're considerably bigger, so that means more venom.
yeah. Well,
Um,
that's the thing. I'm always really skeptical when I hear people talk about bite reports because like
so many
you know what I mean?
variables. So
Yeah, and
many
also like
variables.
doctors, like people don't realize this. People go to the hospital all the time and they will say like, "Oh, it was a brown recluse bite," and it was actually MRSA. And like that's been they had a clinical proving where someone was like, "Why did you say this is a brown recluse?" They're like, "Well, we found skin rash and it was breaking apart and all these things were happening." And they're like, "Did you test for MRSA?" And they're like, "No."
Dude, and like
Like, okay,
doctor experience too. Do you know Jacob? Like Mo Jacob,
no,
from Sacramento. Like he masters snakes and shit.
oh
He
yeah,
had a lot of inverts. He just lost the tip of his finger, like half of his finger, because he got a rattlesnake bite, and malpractice from the doctors that did things wrong. Like he was not supposed to lose part of his finger,
yeah.
but he did because the doctors fucked up. So like experience with these types of like accidents, it's something that also matters a lot.
It's going to be interesting seeing over the course of the next like 10 years because like when I mean I'm going to be 38 in July. Like I have not in my lifetime, it wasn't until probably the last 10 years that owning invertebrates was to the level that it is now. Like, you know, we all had rose hairs back in the day, but like nobody, you either own like a giant African millipede, which used to be like $12 and now they're like 150 to
Bullshit.
$200. You had a rose hair, which could cost like $10 and it was all wild caught. Now you have
Yes.
thousands and thousands of species that are always in the United States and people own them. The average tarantula person has anywhere between 20 to 75 different tarantulas on the extreme 100 plus, or in our scenarios, thousands. So you have this much larger demographic of people that own these things, and yet you still don't see increases of bite reports. And I always thought that was interesting that we have all
Right?
these people, but we still don't have anybody that's thought to like, let's milk them and test their venom with blood. You know what I mean? Like,
Which is actually good because people are not fucking up too bad. Like,
yeah. Yeah, and that's true. And I think a lot of people in this hobby too, they are very protective of the hobby. So even if they got bit, they wouldn't go to the hospital and say, "Hey, I got bit by this." You know what I mean?
I
Because they'd be like,
mean, most things you don't need to go to the hospital. Honestly,
"Right.
like unless it's like a crazy venomous snake or some shit like that. Like
Yeah."
snakes is another level. But it actually surprises me because there's states where you can sell like cobras and vipers and everything. Like
That is the most insane thing to me that you can buy. I've seen the price on like a water cobra, or not water cobras, normal
water
cobras,
cobra. Yeah,
and they're like eighteen
I
hundred
want to go
bucks.
to the Texas shows. Oh no, there. Well, some species can be really cheap. You know what tears the bush vipers? Oh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Are those the really? I've seen them in like greens and blues, right? Is that
yeah,
those
yeah.
crazy
Tears.
venomous, and they're cheap.
No,
And
they're not that venomous. I mean, it's
they're a
gonna
viper.
hurt.
Like, they can't be not that.
Oh
What are
my
you
god.
comparing it to? Brazil? Like, of course it's not Brazilian venomous, but like, come on, dude.
um,
For
but yeah,
for an American owning it in
honestly,
here, like,
I expected more people to get bit, but no, which is good.
yeah,
Good.
it means
Just
people are paying
shows
attention.
and just show that the animals are not as mean as people think they are.
Yeah, and I think nowadays people are more educated than they've ever been. Like, there's a lot of misinformation out there, but people use a lot more common sense than I think we did. But also,
And there's
like
a lot
back
of
in the
more
day,
information around. It's easy to find now.
yeah, for
Unless
sure.
you're looking for like some underground animal shit. Like you
Yeah,
can just Google the name of the animal, you see like a bunch of shit about it. It's easy
we
to
we have about 4 minutes left in the
holy
show.
shit. It's so
Yeah, time
short.
flies. I wanted to
Let's
see.
continue next week. We got another episode.
Yeah, exactly. Do we have any questions from the audience, Hot Dog?
We it's pretty quiet right now. I think one person requested if we could see any of the snakes, but I don't know that you have any ready to show.
Oh, That's up to you, Victor, if you've got any snakes to show.
Sure. What do you want to see? You want
Uh,
to see false water cobra? Do you want to
Ooh.
see
Dealer's
Python?
choice.
dealer's choice. What's your favorite one?
I'm gonna bring the baby falsy and maybe a big falsy.
Yeah, grab them.
Be right back.
All right, while you're doing that, Juice, you and I should plug. This is the last Unearthed for a little bit. We're gonna go on uh, a brief pause as we're about to enter big expo season. So
Yeah.
we're gonna be we're gonna be at pulling up website. We're gonna be at Reptile Realm San Jose on June 22nd and 23rd. Then we're going to be at the Vallejo Reptile and Oddities Expo on the July 20th and the 21st. And finally, we'll be Reptile Realm San Mateo, August 24th and 25th. So we're going to be pretty busy coming up the next couple of months here. Plus a little secret surprise we're not quite ready to announce that we're working on,
Okay, we're
but
back
probably
here.
soon.
Just give me a second.
All right.
Okay,
What do we got here, Victor?
falsies. So
That is a beautiful snake.
this is the mom of the babies that I have. Yeah, she's, I want to say around 6 maybe.
Okay.
They're semi-aquatic snakes. They love water. She was in the water. She's actually all wet now.
She's very chill.
Yeah. Well,
Okay, having falsies is like having 2 snakes in one. When they are the ones with the craziest feeding response ever. Whenever you open an enclosure, they're gonna come launching you, think they're getting fed.
wow.
But once you get them out, they're chill. So like, yeah, when it's feeding time, they get really spastic. And this is her baby.
Oh my god, that's so
little.
cute.
One thing though, which is like very bizarre to me, is that how baby false water cobras are huge as newborns. Like this
Oh,
thing
yeah.
is
Wow,
probably
yeah.
like 10 to 15 days, and it can
Wow.
always like can already take a rat pup. Whether like most snakes are born like really really tiny.
That is a very big snake for a bit. I'm an idiot when it comes to snakes. Are they live born or are they egg born?
Egg.
That's
Boas and
wild.
vipers like rattlesnakes, they're live born.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, colubrids eggs.
I didn't know that. That is crazy.
The head is
Look
right
at
here.
the beautiful coloration too.
Yeah.
And when they have like a why do they call them false water cobras?
So I was trying to show you if you can. So when they're stressed and they're like threatened, so see,
Like she's doing now?
Yeah. So because I'm poking right here, that's gonna make her kind of like
Oh.
flatten up the top of her head, kind of like a cobra would. She's just like, "Ha, gotcha."
She's like, leave me alone. That
No,
is
she's
super
chill.
dope.
It's just like physical response from like
Oh,
petting
okay.
the neck right here. You see, whenever I touch here, she hooks
Oh
up.
yeah. So she's not like mad or anything. She's just it's a response that they do when you touch their head.
Yeah, I mean, she's pretty chill.
That's crazy.
She's just wrapping around here.
Are they see, this is why I need to learn more about snakes. Like so for hognoses, they're like rear fanged
Same thing.
venomous. Is it the same thing as a false water cobra?
Mhm.
Can they bite you or do they have to like do like the Pac-Man and then you know what I mean? Like
Yeah. So they're rear fanged. Their teeth is not as in the rear as expected when I saw it. Let me see if I can open. No. Okay.
with your finger. This is why I say Victor's the craziest human I've ever met, by the way.
They're
I've seen him
chill.
just poke old worlds to see if they're in the mood to touch. Like, okay.
I've never been bit. She's never bit me or anyone for that matter.
Yeah.
But every time I never see them just like strike falsely. Whenever they strike, they usually latch on. So
Okay.
I think that's how they get it in.
Got it.
I've seen like some few bad responses where the persons are like swollen up a lot,
Mhm.
but that's usually it. Just some swollen and shit.
That's
I'm not
crazy.
hoping to find out.
Yeah, no, for
Yeah.
sure.
They're gorgeous.
Of the two snakes that I know you have, the Blue Beauty or whatever they're called, I will remember that name someday. Or these guys. Which do you prefer?
Jesus.
Yeah, that's right.
Terms of interaction, these guys.
Okay.
Blue beauties are elegant, cool, arboreal, but they're usually more temperamental. These guys are just crazy and not smart because they think everything's food. But once they realize they're good, blue beauties, they're like defensive. They're not happy.
Oh, okay.
Got it. So these are better pets in terms of like if you want to hold something, you want to hold something like this.
Probably, but you also gotta know because if you open an enclosure and you reach there, you're gonna get bit. You always
Right.
gotta like let them know it's not food first. Like I always like get a hook and like take him out, and then I play with him.
Do they learn ever? Like, you know how like monitor lizards are very smart and they can
Yes.
like figure out like, okay, this is eat time, this is playtime. Do snakes have the ability to do that? Like, do those guys have the ability to do that or no?
Well, these guys particularly not. They're really dumb. They think
Oh, okay.
everything's food all the time. Like you open to spray and they're gonna start launching at you.
Got it.
Uh, but some other snakes, maybe. I usually don't think they're that smart, but I haven't really tested out.
That's adorable.
This is one of the babies that I'm keeping though because it has some really crazy
His
pattern.
coloration is beautiful. Yeah.
Color is normal; they start a little dark and then they fade out. But
Oh,
if you
okay.
see the first half of the body, the marks are always like broke. That's unusual.
I forgot
Versus
that reptiles
you
have
see the
color
mom.
morphs. Yeah.
Yeah, you see
Okay.
the mom is like normal, all the
Yeah.
patches. This baby, first half part, there's like the broken saddles.
That's
So
wild.
we'll see what happens when it grows.
Very cool.
Yeah, there we go.
Any additional questions from the audience?
I think that's about it. In fact, we're just out of time. So we're at time. Thanks so much, Victor, for showing us your snakes and having this discussion with us. It was great having you.
Yeah, absolutely, Victor. And do you want to plug away any of your plug whatever you got to? Like, where are you going to be at next? What's your website, or how do you want people to reach you?
Well, you can reach me on Instagram, Facebook. I have a website. My website is a little neglected. The inventory is not up to date, but make sure you check with me on Facebook, on Instagram. As you see, I have a lot of animals. Website is not exactly a priority. Anyways, but yeah, I'll be in the Sacramento Reptile Show that's coming, all the Bay Area shows, San Mateo, San Jose. I'll be at the Vallejo Show, the local ones in here. Yeah, you can email me, Google Vexoticme. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, my email, vexoticme@gmail.com. I'm easy to find.
You will see
Awesome.
Victor for sure at every expo we will be at. I think he
Yeah.
is always there, so he's very easy to
If
to
I'm
reach.
not
So
selling, I'm probably out there like hanging out with the people.
yeah, exactly. He's
Yeah.
always somewhere nearby. Victor, we really appreciate you coming today. You went an entire episode and didn't take your shirt off. I'm very
I'm
proud
sweating
of you.
though, like yeah. I'm just trying to be a good boy here.
You did a great job, buddy. I appreciate it.
Nice.
I was
I
like,
did my
man,
best for you.
I'm like any minute now that thing's coming off. Well, we
But hey,
appreciate
if you guys want,
you know what? Yeah, no, it's okay, but we appreciate it.
Let's just say
Thank
on the
you.
audio you did.
Yeah, exactly. On the audio, he took his shirt off. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you to everybody that came to watch this. Thank you to everybody that listens to this. And Hot Doug, why don't you want to take us away?
Yeah, I'll play us off. We'll play the song, everybody crowd favorite. My song from our band, Hot Doug and the Buns, Arthropods, about our enclosures. Check them out at juicesarthropods.com. We'll see ya.
Thank you, guys.
Unpacked my cage last night, delight. $20 from ATM. Man, I'm glad I hit buy on the sweet bug pen. Filled up with dirt and mulch, added a light. Not running out of space. Oh, such a priceless find. And I think it's gonna last a long, long time. Just can't believe this thing is built so fine. It's not that garbage that you found online. Oh no, no, no. It's an arthropod. Arthropods give my buggy friends a fancy home. And I think it's gonna last a long, long time. Just can't believe the cage is built so fine. It's not that garbage that you found online. Oh no, no, no. It's an arthropod. Arthropods give my buggy friends a fancy home. Jaws ain't the kind of place to raise a pits. In fact, it's dumb as hell. 'Cause there's nowhere there to raise them. If you did, and all bug science I understand. It's Juice's job 5 days a week. Arthropods. And I think it's gonna last a long, long time. Just can't believe this thing is built so fine. It's not that garbage that you found online. Oh no, no, no. It's an arthropod. Arthropods give my buggy friends a fancy home. And I think it's gonna last a long, long time. Just can't believe this thing is built so fine. It's not that garbage that you found online. Oh no, no, no. It's an arthropod. Arthropods give my buggy friends a fancy home. And I think it's gonna last a long, long time. And I think it's gonna last a long, long time. And I think it's gonna